All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're diving into the secret language that makes the entire internet, well, work. It's called HTTP, and it's the invisible force behind pretty much everything you do online.
I mean, really think about it. You click on a link and bam, a whole new world appears on your stream. How does that even happen? How does your computer know what to ask for? And how does that website, somewhere out there in the world, know what to send back? That's the magic we're going to unpack today.
Okay, to make this super simple, let's use an analogy that I think you'll get right away. Just picture the entire internet as one giant, super busy restaurant. And you're a customer, sitting at a table, ready to order.
So in this massive internet restaurant, HTTP is your waiter. It's the set of rules, the protocol, that lets you talk to the kitchen and get your food. Now, HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Yeah, it's a mouthful, right? But all it really means is it's the system for moving web stuff, or hypertext, from one place to another. Simple as that.
So this digital waiter, why should you even care? Well, it turns out this guy's working non-stop, behind the scenes, making almost everything you do online possible. Think about your day online. Every single time you type in a web address, fill out a contact form, log into your email, or even stream a video, you're using HTTP. It is the fundamental rulebook for all of this back-and-forth communication.
And this communication, at its core, is just a two-way conversation. And every good conversation needs at least two people, right? In our case, they're called the client and the server.
So on one side, you've got the client. That's you. Or, to be more precise, it's your web browser. Chrome, Firefox, whatever you use. You're the customer in our restaurant. And on the other side, that's the server. The big, powerful computer where the website actually lives. That's the kitchen. The client asks for stuff, and the server prepares and serves it. It really is that simple.
This whole back and forth has a name, the request-response cycle. And honestly, this is the beating heart of the web. Let's walk through it. First, your browser, the client, sends a request. That's you telling the waiter, "I'll have the spaghetti." The server gets that request, just like the ticket printing out in the kitchen. Then, the server gets to work and sends back a response. The kitchen plates your dish. And finally, your browser gets that response and shows you the result. And voila, your food arrives.
So let's get a little more specific. What's actually in that order, that HTTP request? It's not just a vague shout into the void. It contains very specific instructions for the server. Let's look at the two most common kinds.
The two big ones you'll see all the time are GET and POST. A GET request is exactly what it sounds like. You're just asking to get some information. Think of it like asking the waiter for the menu. That's what your browser does every time it loads a web page. A POST request is when you want to send new information to the server, like when you're filling out your order on a form, or you're logging in with your username and password. You're posting your data to the website's kitchen.
All right, so we've placed our order. The server has it. Now what? Well, it's time for the server to send something back. This is the HTTP response.
Now, along with the web page or data you actually asked for, the server sends back this tiny but super important piece of info, a 3-digit status code. You can think of it like a quick little standardized note from the kitchen, letting you and your waiter know exactly how the order went.
And I guarantee you've seen some of these before, even if you didn't know what they were called. A 200 code means, okay, everything is great, everything worked perfectly. Then there's the famous 404, which means not found. The thing you ask for just isn't there. And a 500 means something went wrong on the server's end, an internal error.
So back in our restaurant, a 200 OK is your delicious dish arriving exactly as you ordered. A 404 not found is the waiter coming back to your table and saying, "So sorry, we're all out of the lasagna." And a 500 server error? Whoops, that's a sign there was a crash in the kitchen.
Okay, let's zoom out for a second and put all these pieces together. We've talked about the customer, the waiter, the kitchen, the order, the reply. Let's see the whole conversation, the entire language of HTTP, all in one place.
And there you have it. The client, your browser, sends a request to the server sends back a response, which includes that all-important status code and the data you wanted. It's this simple, elegant loop that is literally happening billions of times every single minute all over the planet, powering our digital world.
You know, there's a great saying about this. If you can really grasp this fundamental back and forth flow, this idea of a request and a response, you're honestly well on your way to understanding the deep magic of how the entire web works.
So now you're in on the secret. The next time a page loads, or you get that dreaded 404 not found error, You'll know what's actually happening behind the curtain. You'll see that little digital waiter, HTTP, hustling back and forth with messages. My question for you is, what else are you going to start to notice now that you speak the language?